Hi friends, Sergeant Host Eric and Lieutenant Rachel here on patrol, as always, in our capacity as the Type Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police, Type Police, please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or Type Police. Welcome back to the Type Police. Today we've got a double perp. We pulled over a car with two people in it, one of whom claims to be an ENFP, this fellow here, and the other of whom claims to be an INTP. A little forewarning, you're going to hear some OP stuff, some crash bang boom, some sleep rest plays, some blast whatever. That stuff's all obviously nonsense. We're going to assume that they mean what they say when she says she's an INTP, it means she's an INTP. When he says he's an ENFP, it means he's an ENFP. Here we go. Let's see what they have to say.
You feel?
Oh, it was horrible. Like, I just was so stuck on the idea that I was an ENFP for like 2 years. And yeah, I just really heavily identified with that. And obviously being TI, like I'd built up like constructs of what I believed each personality type to be and what I was, and, finding out that that was all wrong and that I actually couldn't see myself, like I thought I was the exception to everyone and that I just like could see myself and I knew my type, and Dave and Chan were just going to confirm it for me. So yeah, it was like, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, like a lot of processing and reflecting on my life and seeing myself, I guess, from a new lens, and realizing, I guess, that my core fears have always been, to do with people and all of that. It's the pieces are starting to come together a lot. So yeah, but it was hard initially.
Okay, so this girl thinks she's an ENFP.
It's funny you mentioned that you thought you were ENFP because I think most people who type themselves usually end up with INFJ, INTJ, or ENFP. It's like it's always those three, So
literally, yeah. And I think anyone who probably has like consume and play as their saviors as well probably think there's some sort of an ENFP, just because it's the description of one a lot. But yeah, no, it's like now I'm trying to like reconstruct in my mind like who even are ENFPs in my life. Like,
Okay, this is gonna be hard to Type Police because, I mean, the woman prior to being typed by OP, thought she was an ENFP. She's being told she's an INTP. So let's see if we can get some. So far, all she's done is talk about sort of the ontological impact upon her. She doesn't necessarily sound not TI yet, and I haven't gotten much information from the guy yet. Let's put it on a little faster speed and put the CCs on and see if we can get a little more information here. Like,
because I thought like I was using myself as a point of reference, for judging everyone else's personality type too. So I thought I was seeing everyone through an ENFP lens, but it's like, no, like most of my friends are actually probably INTPs, so I thought we're ENFPs and all that jazz. It's like, yeah, I just really had built up a lot of constructs about personality types, which I guess is a really decidery thing to do as well, because it's like I'm just like trying to figure out people constantly and make connections and stuff with my NE and all of that. So yeah.
If you're an IP, then chances are a lot of your friends are probably EJs, because they're the opposite, right? So
do you think that's how it works?
There's a higher probability that that's what's happening. I mean, not all, of course. Everyone has friends with different. I have INTP friends, for example, so it's fine.
I think I could. Yeah, I think with EJs, I definitely do gel with them a lot. I think we do provide a good balance for each other, but it's also like they can make you feel more selfish, like not in a like not meaning to, I guess, but just by how selfless they can be. It's like, oh shit, like I'm, they just make you realize how much you can be focused on yourself, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I think as an INTP, it would be easy for you to interact with an EJ because the EJs, they don't want to talk about themselves, and then you're an IP, so you want to talk about yourself. So it's like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. But I don't want it to be like unbalanced either, where I'm just like talking about myself. So I think DJs do tend to talk about themselves or like their opinions on things a lot, especially if they're thinkers. So I guess it's not that they don't talk about themselves a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a different flavor, I guess.
Maybe in a one-on-one setting they would talk about themselves, but you go to group setting, then that's kind of when they hide.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you kind of have to pry at them as well, like, you know, to talk about themselves. And you know, like I feel like I would ask them a lot of questions, like, oh, so what do you think about this, and what do you feel about this? And yeah, so it's like you kind of try to bring it out of them, I guess, and bring out their inner IP or something. I don't know.
I do find though that consume play INTPs, even though they talk about themselves, they
still like to hear other people talk about themselves too. So they consume and they do the blending. So
yeah, true. I do actually like that.
Okay, what are these people talking about?
Nothing yet. They're talking about SJs and IPs. So.
I mean, she gets along with SJs because she's an IP.
Right.
Okay. Let's listen to some more of this.
always try to preserve your energy or like manage your energy. Would you say when it comes to friendship, the one benefit of having a long-term friend is you can cut through the BS of small talk and you can go straight to like just normal interaction, and it's like saves a lot of energy, right? You can go straight to the fun stuff because usually when you meet people, you do have to go through the BS song and dance of like small talkers before you can go deeper, And then, unless you have built like a long history with someone, you can't just go straight, normally. So do you say that if there is something that you would value about long-term friendship, it would be like you can just go straight to the point?
Oh yeah, like one thing I love about long-term friendships is just like you can lie around together, just being lazy energy doms and just like not say anything for a while if you're not feeling it, like, but just still be in each other's company. And yeah, just like not feeling like you have to have a certain level of energy for people as well. Like with a long-term friendship, like they've just known you for so many years, like you really do just feel safe with them and accepted that you can just chill out and not have to put your best foot forward, I guess, in that way. But with the whole small talk thing, I get what you're saying, but like if I do feel like I have to have small talk with a person, I most likely won't be friends with them anyway in the long term. So it's like I won't have to like keep engaging in small talk with them. Like it might just be like a once off or twice off or something. Because I do kind of just, even with people I don't know that well, I still like to kind of cut the crap. I'm just like not bothered to talk small talk. It's draining kind of for me. I'll try to get at something with them, like see if we can strike a chord together on something deeper, if you get me.
Yeah, I get you. I kind of get you. I mean, I don't see small talk in as a negative light as you. I think small talk, for me, small talk is an opportunity for a social experiment. Yeah.
Okay. For the love of God. What are these people talking about? Whether they like small talk? Isn't this small talk what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it certainly isn't large talk.
No. No mention of cognitive functions, really.
Does this guy seem like an ENFP to you?
I'm trying to compare and contrast against.
He seems more FE than FI to me, but I don't know. Maybe we haven't seen enough of him. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's you want to watch more?
I do.
Okay. I haven't seen enough about this girl to make any real determinations about her.
No.
See, they're not talking about anything that I would expect an INTP to be wanting to talk about, really. But she's responding to the questions,
She's double feminine, I'm masculine feminine.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
it doesn't have to be complete opposite. Look, obviously relationships are such a complex thing. Like human psychology is so complex, so obviously relationships are going to be complex too. It's not really that easy to make a formula out of it. Like, but I guess maybe in general, like, different sexual modalities like are more attracted to each other. But yeah, like that's not to say it's like the be all and end all or whatever. People of all types have fulfilling relationships. So
I think in the classes, Dave and Chan said that besides the sexual modalities, the other thing that they've seen happen is your first animal. And if your first animal is the opposite of the first person's animals, yes, the opposite, then there is more chance for an attraction. So my first animal is double feminine and her first animal is double.
Feel like the best version of myself around that person. Like I need them to bring that out of me, and like I want us to grow together, all that IP stuff. But that's
okay. What did you think seemed ENFP there? I wasn't really paying attention to him at that point.
It just I forget what he actually said.
He said something about somebody said something in class.
Yes. But it wasn't like there's a lack of TI. But I'm comparing and contrasting against my dad, and he doesn't really seem like my dad.
No, he doesn't. He reads more ENFJ, ESFJ to me than he does ENFP. But I get so annoyed by hearing them talk about this nonsense that they relate to typology in some fashion. It's incredibly annoying.
People do that. They just like choose a person if they feel like it's time to settle down, and that's the way it is. But yeah, hopefully he's happy.
I mean, I think it's the right match because I met her, so he introduced her to me and my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And then I think he wanted me to type her too. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hear your motive.
Yeah, he always does this. He'll bring someone over. He's like, okay, I want you to type this person.
It's like, dude, stop.
So yeah, he brings his girlfriend, and later he wants to ask me to type, right? So I'm like, so we're hanging out there, and I'm like, so this person seems to have a lot of decider problems or decider things. And number two, I can tell my friends the boss, like the IP is the boss. So I'm like, okay. Usually in a relationship, there's like the leader and the support, So yeah. Not saying like some people prefer to be the support role in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think people get a bad rap for that. But anyways, I think the girlfriend definitely, or his fiance definitely prefers to be the support role.
Okay.
But I think they take leadership in different areas. Like I think when it comes to like investments, I think she takes up leadership because he doesn't care, But like when it comes to making decisions of like where they would go on vacation and stuff, then he's the leader, Because she'll be like, can we please go there? That's what she'll say, right? But the one thing I noticed when she introduced the girlfriend or the fiance, I was like, this person doesn't ping back when she talks to people.
Oh, okay. Play last probably.
Yeah, she's play last. Like I'm like, this person's play last. Like this person doesn't ping. There's no pinging. Like,
no pinging. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll tell a joke to someone. Or like, no.
What are they talking about?
This is small talk.
It's unbearable to listen to. I don't mean to be a dick, but I mean, it is just like, what are you talking about?
If you have to ask that question more than once, there's a problem with the communication.
Well, I mean, clearly they're not communicating to express any particular ideas. They're just sort of chatting about things that might be like this whole like, well, in that kind of a relationships are different from each other and blah 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 blah. Well, what the? You're not accomplishing any. Well, I don't know. I guess people like to just chat like that, but
they're not really talking about each other's types. I mean, they think they are by talking about relationships, but they're not really talking about, as an INTP, I find that this happens, or as an ENFP, like, my experience has been this. They're just saying that relationships can be different for everyone, and how they think that's great.
Yeah, okay, well, let's see if we can find something more purposeful than they're saying here. I don't know. It's been on for an hour and 43 minutes.
Small stuff, sure, I'm there, like okay, like following traffic rules. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, that's fine. Like I'll engage. I'll engage in groupthink. I don't care. But like, okay, how I'm gonna live my life? That there's no way I'm gonna engage in groupthink. That is deadly. Because everyone's everyone is an individual. So
of course. Whether you're DE or DI, you're an individual at the end of the day.
Yeah, and what works for you or what makes you happy is different from the next person, right? I mean, yes, we have our OPS type and we are like robots with our own programming, but still there's like different, like that's just like the genetic side of things. That's not taking into consideration the environmental part of your personality, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, so I have last two questions for you, Yvonne, and then we'll wrap up the interview. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your sexual modalities. You are tester and visual. So the way tester has been shown is like they like smell. It's like a smell thing. Yeah.
I love how you actually like got your fingers, because I have an obsession with like smelling my hands. Anyway, we'll get to that, but
I like to smell my hands through my skin, especially when it's like the sun hits it. I don't know, it's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like to smell the sun. Like when your skin is burnt by the sun. It's weird.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, that's my weird quirk. I used to smell my skin after being outside for so long, and then my youngest sister will also do the same thing.
Oh no way.
We're all being
so
weird,
walking around the house like smelling your hands.
Yeah, we're all being weird, right? We're like
but like it feels like such for me anyway, like such an animalistic drive to like smell myself, because it's like, I know it's gonna sound weird, but look, I didn't make the human programming, but like you know, if I smell my hands, it feels like it contains information about myself that I need to know. Like if I just ate a certain food and I can smell it from my hands, or like when I wake up in the when I wake up in the morning, or like, and it's funny because I've been caught out sometimes like by my friends just like smelling my thumb, or like, and they're just like, are you smelling your fingers right now? But but like, yeah, and I actually don't feel as bad about it because I watched this video, and it was like an experiment. It was set in like a dental office, and there was a camera in the room. And so what would happen is like the person would come into the dental office, the patient, and the dentist would shake their hand, and every single person smelled their hand after they shook the dentist's hand. So I feel like it's definitely an evolutionary thing, like where we unconsciously or consciously are picking up information about the other person and their maybe hygiene levels or something about them from sniffing. But it was like an unconscious like hand movement up their nose. Yes. So I think it is a very like primal kind of like drive in us definitely to smell.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the tester takes it to the next level.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Like, she links to something that's definitely relevant and worth saying there, you know, about this nonsense notion. It's not entirely nonsense. You know, it's like, I would not actually expect it to be inconsistent with INTP that they would do stuff like smell themselves with SI third, but the reason is simply because the SI third, you know. It's not for just tester whatever shit they're talking about. Anyway, what do you think, Rachel?
I think that he, like you said, I've been watching his like FE, and he's very high with FE. So I'm thinking he's not an ENFP. In my experience, ENFPs would engage like more emotionally, and probably try to like joke a little bit more than this person.
Well, I mean, I following your lead here, I also would say I feel more skeptical actually about him than her. Like, she might very well be an INTP,
yeah,
but he's not bringing any INTP-ishness out of her at all.
Right.
And he's guiding the conversation, being the expert. He seems like, I would say, more ENFJ than ESFJ, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
See, I feel like he's ESFJ more, but
you think he's more ESFJ?
But I don't.
You might be right. I mean, you know, it's like in situations like this where we don't have the opportunity to question him and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times your NI is going to be more reliable.
He could be ENFJ though, also.
Well, let's give him a little bit more time, and I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable about this sending him to the slammer either way. If we can confirm he's not FI, then. And this lady, I don't know if we're going to be able to do anything with her because she's just not giving us any real information that would be meaningful. That last bit of relevant data provision is at least not inconsistent with them. So
yeah.
Well, here we go.
But yeah, I've just put my foot. Yeah. It's probably it would be dangerous if they like, you know, thousands of years ago to be a tester.
Yeah. Thank God you're born in the right time.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pros and cons, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Everything that we're talking about makes a lot of sense, like from an evolution standpoint, or like a hunter-gatherer, or like a tribal standpoint. Like,
yeah. That's why I kind of wondered. I was like, oh, like this is a very SE thing to do. Like to want to go out and just like test things and stuff. Maybe it's not, but like I do feel like I do get really lost in my senses and the visuals and the smells and the tastes of things. You know, like it's like an experience for me almost.
Well, I feel like everyone can use all the function, but they can't go deep. So, like for example, I don't have SE, neither do you, right? But we're still using extrovert sensing. You know, we can still we can still gather facts. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so and we can still compare like who's bigger, who's stronger, you know, who looks better.
Yeah.
We can still do the SE stuff. So we have like a shallow use of it, you know.
I think this chick might be a STP, ESTP maybe.
No, they're the SE, they can jump over a fence. You know, like,
oh, yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, because like, you know, like a nerdy INTP, they'll run over the fence. They'll be screwed, you know.
Especially like a double feminine, like, you know, like I'm such a noodle body, like I would just like fall over it.
Sure, yeah, maybe a kinesthetic INTP can still jump over the fence, but like the
probably, but like I would just like literally fall over it.
Oh man, you're like, if you live in a different time, like crazies don't want to wear a mask. You have people who are like trying to shame people, like maybe an ESFJ, like shame on you, you know, you know, like so I'm like it's almost chaotic environment. I can see my coworkers all freaking out, right? But for me, because I'm an EP, I'm like, I'm in my element here. And I was. And I did,
Wow.
like, I got so much compliments for doing such a great job at like managing people, but they don't know that I'm an idiot when it comes to the last part of the election, which is now sorting the boxes and making stimulation from solving the problem. So there's like those subtle differences.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna let this girl go. Lady, I don't know.
Me too, because I can't tell.
I have not enough information for me to type you. My gut is saying ESTP over INTP. But that's just my gut. She seems to have sufficient NE to be not ISTP, but I don't see she's really following the lead of the dude though, you know. It's got to be a painful conversation for her. Regardless, it's a painful conversation for me to listen to simply because it's so filled with OP stuff, you know. It's like I can't listen to all this blast, play, test, smell nonsense that is just like look what the shit's called. INTP female Yvonne MTINE CPSBFF. What the fuck is all that shit? You know, it's like I want to arrest Dave and Shannon for sure. They should be in type jail right now. They are career criminals. But this lady, I'm letting you go. I don't think you're an INTP. I also don't think you're an ENFP, which you thought you were before. But I don't have enough evidence to arrest you. Dude, you're going to jail. You're going to the slammer. You are not an ENFP. Rachel, are you backing me on this one?
Backing you up on this one.
All right.
On both of them, I back you up. You don't have enough really to say that she's not an INTP. Well, we can't distinguish what she really is. There's no questioning. Like, there's no questions really heading her way regarding her type. And he is not an ENFP. He's I didn't see much display of high FP.
And that's the sound of the slammer closing behind you, buddy. That's the sound of the slammer, okay? So you are now in type jail. You are not an ENFP. And you can be in there with the rest of the FE people. You guys are going to have such a good time. You're going to be patting each other's back. You're going to be talking each other's ears off. I don't know what type exactly you are, but I don't think there's no way.
I don't know exactly what type either. Cause yeah, I just don't. I know I do sense high, I do believe there's high FE, which would not make you an ENFP.
Yeah. I mean, he is very talkative, though. Do you think maybe... But I just don't really hear any kind of extroverted intuition style ideation from him. It's more like just...
It sounded at one point, I thought, like gossip.
Yeah, maybe.
But
maybe
it's more about relationships. Just.
Yeah, I'd expect any ENFP to be a little bit more robust in their ideation than that, you know. So anyway, Yvonne, you're not probably an INTP, but I'm not arresting you. ENFP man or whatever your name is, you are not an ENFP. You're going to jail. You've already heard the slammer door slam behind you, so that's it for you. So here's the outro song, and enjoy the night in jail. We'll be giving you bread crusts and water tonight. That'll be your dinner, but I'll give you as much bread crust as you want.
Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, please pull that guy over.
quiz.